स्वात्मन्यनस्तमय संविधि कल्पितस्य व्योमादि सर्वजगतः प्रददाति सत्ताम् स्फूर्तिं स्वकीयमहसा वितनोति साक्षात् यद्ब्रह्म तत्त्वमसि केवलबोधमात्रम्।
उपासकानां यदुपासनीयम् उपात्तवासं वटशाखिमूले तद्धाम दाक्षिण्यजुषा स्वमूर्त्यां जागर्तु चित्ते मम बोधरूपम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। अपार सच्चित्सुखवारिराशेः यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहिदं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि। देहं मृण्मयवज्जडात्मकम् अहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तदभावसुप्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधिया दृष्ट्वात्मनिष्ठात्मनां सोहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवो पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्य किल शक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। आचार्येभ्यो लब्धसुसूक्ष्माच्युततत्त्वाः वैराग्येणाभ्यासबलाच्चैव दृढिम्नां भक्त्यैकाग्र्यध्यानपरायं विदुरीशं तं संसारध्वान्तविनाशं हरिम् ईडे। Yesterday we saw that Harimeede-stava, one verse from that. Samsara Dhvanta Vinasham Harim Ede. This is the constant repetition. Dhvanta means darkness. Darkness of samsara. Samsara is suffering due to ignorance, avidya. Atmanaha aspurtihi avidya. What is avidya? The self is ever shining forth. Even though it is shining forth, the recognition is not happening. And that non-recognizing the ever-existing truth is avidya. Yasmin drishte nashyati tat samsriti chakram. Chakram means cycle, going round and round. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Again birth, again death, again coming into the womb. So, yasmin drishte nashyati tat samsriti chakram. When you see him, when you see your own real self, when you know what is your real nature, then that samsriti chakra, the chakra of suffering, is destroyed forever. To attain that, what should one do? Acharyebhyaha labdha susukshma achyuta tattvaha. One has to approach the Acharya. Acharya means an authentic Guru is called Acharya. And all the definitions are given by Bhagavad Pada. He should be a Shrotriya, one who knows the Shruti, the essence, the cream of the Upanishads. And Avrajinaha, the sinless one. Akamahataha, one who is not constantly disturbed by desires. Yo Brahmavittamaha, the supreme knower of Brahman. Brahmani Uparataha, he is retired into Brahman. He is ever resting in that absolute. Shantaha, the sign of that is supreme peace, profound peace. Nirindhanaivanalaha, like fire which goes down, which becomes quiet when there is no fuel. Like that, the vasanas are not there. Ahaituka daya sindhuhu, a person of immense compassion, motiveless compassion. Bandhuhu, a true relative for those who have surrendered. Anamatam satam. All these signs are given. So to such an Acharya, the disciple surrenders and labda susukshma achyuta tattvaha. From him he listens about the real nature of the self, which is very subtle. Atyanta sukshmam. Hence, first listening, then internalizing that, then going within and doing contemplation on that truth and abiding in the non-dual essence. Shrotavyaha, mantavyaha, nididhyasitavyaha. Achyuta tattva, it is called Achyuta. Achyuti means slip. Achyuti means no slip. The state from where there is no spiritual slip. Vairagyena, you need immense vairagya to protect your jnanam. Otherwise, jnanam will be always corrupted by vairagyam, ragam, attachment. So, vairagyena abhyasa balati cha, with constant practice of making the mind abide in the non-dual state. Bhagavan says the state where the I thought does not arise is the state where I am that. The state where there is existence, awareness, profound peace. In that state, again and again pulling the mind back and making it abide in that profound infinitude of one's own real being. So again and again practicing, dradimna, it becomes firm. Bhaktya, and with immense devotion to Guru and Ishtadevata. Aikagriya Dhyāna Paraha, constant one-pointed focused meditation. Yam Viduhu Isham, that Ishvara he comes to know. Tam Samsara Dhvanta Vinasham Harimeede, that Hari we do worship. So one more verse from that. So yesterday we were seeing that Acharya is giving the teaching to the king Amaruka. When a teacher gives the teaching to the disciple, there is a question in Bhagavatam where Parikshit is asking Shukabrahma Maharshi that all the Shastras, they say Brahman is inconceivable. It is unknowable. It is as no form, no name, the inexpressible. And such a thing, how does the teacher communicate? And how can the disciple know it with his limited individuality? And Bhagavan Shukacharya says, the teacher is not communicating to the disciple. The truth, the anubhuti in the teacher is communicating itself to the anubhuti in the disciple. This is the Shruti Gita, where the anubhuti in the Guru is communicating that anubhuti to the disciple. A rare moment when the disciple is receptive. That moment the recognition happens. One of the close disciples of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi was Devaraj Mudaliar. His very famous question is, Bhagavan, to attain Jnanam Arul Vename. He said, Bhagavan, we want Arul, grace. Bhagavan said, Arul da irukuvai nir kurke varamarunda varum. Bhagavan said, what exists is grace. Do not obstruct it. Do not come across. It is flowing. He will be constantly asking question to Bhagavan. Kanakamma many times told that we will be wondering how he is talking. The presence is so profound, and this person will be constantly asking Bhagavan, how will one attain that? What will be that state like that? And one day, he had a profound experience of that maunam. His mind became very quiet. There was so much peace. He could not talk. Bhagavan was looking somewhere, and he turned all round and looked at Devaraj Mudaliar and smiled. Devaraj Mudaliar said, Bhagavane, idudana adu. He asked Bhagavan, is this that? He could not find better words. He said, is this that? Bhagavan said, Aduda o idu. He said, that is this. That is this. So when the teacher is needed, because the recognition happens by you, but the teacher is needed to confirm, to tell you that it is that. That is it. Etadvaitat. The Shruti says etadvaitat. This is that. So that recognition happens not in the mind, not in the intellect, but in the very being. But mysteriously, people have always this doubt whether the realization happens in the mind or the intellect or the self. What is the opinion? Where does it happen? Some places Upanishad says it happens in the self. The same Upanishad, another place says, Manasaivedamaptavyam. You have to attain it with the mind. Another place, the Shruti says, you have to attain it by pure intellect. So the pure intellect, the pure mind, the self are all same. Actually, the self alone exists. When it wanted to see, it became the eyes. When it wanted to hear, it became the ears. When it wanted to smell, it became the smell. When it wanted to express itself, it expressed itself as eye. When it wanted to imagine, it became the mind. When it wanted to take, it became the hand. When it wanted to move, it became the legs. Even this body is only an idea. That is why this idea goes away in deep sleep. Just vanishes. Whatever you may do, suddenly it vanishes. And this person who says, I want to sleep, he also disappears. So, like that in Samadhi also. So, the recognizing center is within. And that center, that is why great Mahatmas, when they see a person mature enough to recognize that, the Guru worships the disciple. See, in true spiritual tradition, one sign you see, a teacher who says, I have attained, all of you are ignorant. And claims too much. Know that there is something wrong. Bhagavan many times said, I don't find anybody ignorant, all are that. And one place he said, you are pretending. Ramakrishna also said, you have decided to play some more days. Ignorance is also a play. When you want to stop that play, you are free. Very, very often I remember in our childhood, younger days, we used to play cricket, and only the rich boy will have the bat, stump, ball, everything. All others have to cooperate with him. And the game will go on till he gets out. Once he gets out, he will take everything and go home. So, like that, our samsara also, the moment you fail, you decide to be free. Otherwise, you want to continue the play, game. Okay, so this inner one is, when you see the inner one, the Guru, a true Guru worships that inner divinity. When Narendra came, Vivekananda, Narendra came, Ramakrishna worshipped him. It's not the disciple alone who worships. Pratyarchya Krishnacharitam Kalikalma Shagganam Vyahartumarabhata Bhagavata Pradhana. As Bhagavata says, Shukracharya inwardly worshipped the listener, Parikshit. And in that Shruti Gita says, what does the teacher do? The teacher awakens the power inside the disciple. Just like you touch the calling bell, from inside the house somebody comes and opens the door. Like that, the Guru is only touching the calling bell. From within, the inner being opens the door. He arranges the situation in such a way that your inner one can wake up and open the door. Only he can open, because it is locked from within. No lock outside. It is locked from within. So the inner one has to open. The inner one has to unveil, uncover. No other way. So that is why here Sankaracharya also told the king, Tattvamasi Rajan. Vishama Vishayeshu Sancharino Kshashvan Doshadarshana Kashaghata Svairam Sannivartya Swantarashmi Birdhira Badhnanti Yatra Tattvamasi Tattvam Shamadamo Paramadi Sadhanair Dhiraha Swatmanatmani Yad Anvishya Kritakrityaha Adhigata Mita Satchidananda Rupaha Napunariha Khidyante Tattvamasi Tattvam Shanti Mutalana Butru Sandatam Tannal Tannil ஆய்ந்து எதை அறிஞர் கண்ட அவ்வறிவின்ப மெய்யா என்றும் மீந்து எலாம் முடிந்தொளிர்வர் மிகுபவக்கேதம் நீத்தேம் ஆழ்ந்தரீத்தத்வமான அவ்வஸ்து அன்றோ நீதான். That truth you are. சாந்தி முதலான உற்று சமதம உபரமாதி சாதனை. First, before coming to spirituality, at least you should be a human being. Not, that is why Vivek Chudamani Sankaracharya said, qualification for realization is human being. Hey, we are outwardly. but inwardly also, the sign of human being what? You long for realization more than anything else. And you have the prerequisites. The sign of prerequisites is a kind of calmness. Not the ultimate shanti, peace, but a kind of calmness is there in the person. And that calmness is shama. The mind is balanced. Then dhamma, the senses are in order. Then uparama, the person loves to stay in solitude. There is that contentment inwardly. This is the sign of spirituality. Uparama. With all these sadhanas, dhīraha, the courageous, the brave one, swatmana atmani, by their own self, in their own very self, yad anvishya kritakrityaha, by inquiring within who am I, what is my real nature, what is the real nature of this I. By this inquiry, when devotees, disciples or seekers, so many people came to Bhagavan, many people think that Bhagavan don't initiate. Actually, Bhagavan alone initiates. The initiation of Bhagavan is aloka diksha, that is in his presence, sometimes by his gaze, or by in that presence itself, this spurti, this pulsation, spandana within is so palpable. This I. A strange fascination to inquire within, to focus inwardly, focus one's attention on this throb. And when that happens, that is initiation. The mind has entered into the inner stream. The mind has entered into the current of I, the inner stream. And once that has happened, there is nothing to do outside. The person has to just merge within. Follow this current of this I. Ahamayam kuto bhavati chinvataha aipatatyaham nija vicharanam. Ahaminashabhaji. Ahamaham taya spurati hridsvayam paramapurna sat. This aham vritti, the I thought, merges and something else profound shines forth with all luminosity in the heart. So, தன்னால் தன்னில் ஆய்ந்து எதை அறிஞர் கண்ட அவ் அறிவின்ப மெய்யாய் என்றும், that அறிவு இன்ப மெய், that which is existence, bliss and awareness. Yad anvishya, by knowing that kritakrityaha, a deep contentment comes in the person. See, when you see a Jivan Mukta, the most striking thing is that contentment, trupti. As Vidyaranya Swami says, how to know the knower? you find that he has reached home. That contentment is there, that trupti is there. The trupti is samadhi. Atma Jnana is the trupti. Mean the elam mudittu olirbar. Everything has come to an end, conclusion. Adhigatamita Satchidananda Rupaha. They have attained that Satchidananda Rupa. Na punariha kiddyande. No more suffering. No more suffering. No more sorrow. Tattvamasi tattvam. O king, you are that. Tattvamasi tatttvamasi tatttvamasi Rajan. So this is the teaching of Vedanta. The knowledge of the self is transmitted by the master to the disciple at the right opportune moment. And when that knowledge is transferred at the right moment, it is impossible not to realize. Avagadihi bhavati eva, as Sankaracharya says in Bhashya, it is certain that the person will recognize. He will wake up. So from there, after awakening this king, he inwardly was ready to receive. Sometimes, people will look very, very worldly outwardly. A single touch, the person will change. Tiruvannamalai was... In Tiruvannamalai, Arunagirinathar was there. He was very worldly person. Completely, he ruined his life in sensual pleasures. And he went to such an extent that he wanted to commit suicide. Of course, that is the end of all this indulgence. So ultimately he said, I have no meaning in life. Body is full of disease. He went up the tower of Arunachala temple. There is one tower called Vallalar Maharaja Gobram. From that tower, he jumped down while just screaming Muruga. When he opened his eyes, he found a sadhu keeping him in his lap. Instead of dying, he saw a sadhu, a very radiant monk, keeping him in his lap. Who gave him this Upadesha? What is the Upadesha? Chumma iru. That's all. Be still, quiet. And who gave you Upadesha? He says, Subramanya. He gave me the Upadesha. He identified the sadhu as Lord himself. Pemman Murugan, Piravan Iravan. That Subramanya is deathless, birthless. He appeared before me and gave me the Upadesha. Chumma iru sollara endradume amma porulundru marindilane. When he said Chumma iru, just the body vanished, the mind vanished, the ego vanished. And something arose from within which swallowed the I thought. Yanagiya yennai vizhungi. Kandaranubhuti padikkum. Thanai nilai nindrathu tatparami. So this knowledge arose in that king also. thus blessing many. The Acharya Digvijayavahani moved. The strange happenings at Darada greatly astonished all the devotees. He saw the keenness of Acharya's perception, which was like that of a jeweler who could identify a gem even in a heap of rubbish. They walked on and reached the banks of Krishnaganga. Acharya and disciples decided to stay for some time in that marvelously beautiful place and contemplate deeply on Vedanta. A small hermitage was constructed using wooden planks. Completely reposed and relaxed, Acharya commenced discourses on the essence of Vedanta for brahmacharis and sannyasis. So here, very profound discussions come. A brahmachari asked, Bhagavan, how long should the listening of Vedanta continue? One disciple asked, how many days, to what extent should I listen? Some disciples, they want to listen and get something and go. Something like you go to a shop, buy something and go back. Generally, if you have that motive, listening will not be effective. That is called a flaw, a dosha, anyabhinivesha. Your very desire to get itself will block the realization. There are some others who have no motive. One teacher had a disciple. He had many disciples. They all got the teaching. Some went and started teaching themselves. After getting this knowledge, generally people go to great teachers so that they will have good background. They can say, I studied with this teacher. I am under this teacher. So, after getting that, they will go. But one disciple was there. He stayed with that master for almost 27 years. And he never displayed any of his knowledge. And even if someone asks him, he will say, I do not know. But the Guru loved him so much. So one day, in the Sabha, when everyone was there, the Guru asked him, so many years you were here, listening. What did you get? He said, I got the joy of listening. I have nothing to attain, no desire to get anything. Either you say your stock is over, or I should feel it is enough for me. Both are not going to happen. And that disciple he got a very great state, highest state of anubhuti. Because total desirelessness, no unmotivated devotion. So here this brahmachari asks, how Patanjali says, how should we do sadhana? Satu dirgha kala. Dirgha kala means for long years. Nairantarya, constant. Satkara, with reverence. Asevitaha, when practiced. Dridhabhumihi, it becomes firmly rooted. Bhumikalabha. But in Vedanta, it is quite possible that someone walks in and goes out as a Jivan Mukta. Just one listening and the recognition of the truth shines forth. Like lightning. Avartira sakrit upadeshad. No constant listening, just once. But generally it is avarti, repetition, repetition, repetition. So when the disciple asks Bhagavad Pada, how long should one listen? Acharya said, until the awareness I am Brahman shines undiminished in all the three states, one must continue to listen to and reflect on the Vedanta. For some, the intuitive flash of self-experience, Chit Spurti, will happen instantaneously when the nature of the self is heard from the Guru just once. Quite possible. But certain people, they are listening, why they are not able to recognize, wake up. And Bhagavad Pada says, very beautiful verses. These verses come in a work which we are planning to take further, when, if possible, later on. Somebody told the very name of the work, to utter that, Chaturmasya will be over. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Sara Sangraha. This is the name of the book. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Sara Sangraha. So, these shlokas come there. Prajnamandyam bhaved yesham tesham na shruti matrataha syad akhandakara vrittihi vinatu mananadina. Those who have very pure intellect, no cobwebs there. Such pure intellect which is ablaze with ekagrata, one-pointedness, and shraddha, bhakti, dhyana yoga. Such an intellect, once it recognizes, once it listens, realization happens. Their prajna is very pure. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yashasmi tattvataha. Bhakti means immense love for the truth. With such bhakti, if they comes, the very listening gives them the experience of samadhi. Prajnamandyam bhavedyasham, those with immature intelligence, their prajna is slow, dull. Very slow. Mandaha, sumandamatayaha, mandabhagyaha, hi upadrutaha. As Bhagavata puts it, the unfortunate people, sign of them is mandaha, by birth dull. And their intellect is much more, they come but intellect will not come. Mandamatayaha, very slow intelligence. And bhagya, their fortune also is not effective. Right when you get a satsanga, they have to go somewhere. Satsanga is in your place and you go somewhere. Bhagya is Ishvara Prasada. It is not there. And even when you get other things, you are there. Upadrutaha, some disease, some sickness. Somewhere there is some problem. Some hurdle is there, obstacle is there. And more than that, bhurini bhuri karmani shrotavyani vibhagashaha. So many things to be done. After this satsanga, I have to go there. I have to do this, I have to do that. So, it is like you have already put a hook somewhere and come. So, the listening is not becoming effective. Prajnamandyam bhavedyesham tesham na shruti matrataha. See, if all these obstacles are not there, shruti matrataha, by mere listening, akhandakara vrittihi, the intellect just becomes infinitude. It recognizes the infinitude. The mind recognizes the infinitude. Bhuma. It's a mystery. How can the mind recognize it? Yes, it can recognize. Can the river become ocean? Yes. The river merges in the ocean and becomes the ocean. For some more time, perhaps it is thinking I am river. You go to Chennai also during tsunami, the river was flowing opposite. That's Adayar river, opposite side. Nobody recognized what is happening. But that is not river, it is the sea. It looks like river. Like that, the infinite expresses itself through the finite. The intellect has that. Intellect which is cleansed by grace, by kripa. Kripa pishiktadhihi. Such an intellect, by shruti matra, by listening, mere listening, it becomes, it has the akhandakara vritti, that infinite recognition of the infinite. Otherwise, the person recognizes, gets a glimpse, again comes back to the plane of limitation, again struggles and goes back. This struggle, manana, nididhyasana, he has to continue. That person is also a right person, because at least he is able to do manana and nididhyasana, meditation. Shravanat, mananat, dhyanat, tatparyena nirantaram, buddhehe sukshmatvam ayati, tataha vastu upalabhyate. See, all these are there in Atmatirtham. I am only reading. This book is the cream of Sankaracharya's teachings. It is all there. By listening, by constant contemplation, and by meditation, deep absorption in that non-dual principle, Bhagavan gave a subtle meaning for this. Listening means what? You are listening to the throb of I within you. And manana means what? You hold to the I, devoid of the limitation of body, mind, intellect, as pure throb of consciousness. And the state where the I thought does not arise, stay there, absorption. Thus, again and again, taking dip in that pure holy water of egoless state, the buddhi becomes so pure, it becomes a vibhuti, vaisharadi buddhi. Then Sukshmatvamayati. The buddhi becomes so subtle that it can recognize that truth, infinite. It is no more called the intellect. It is not the intellect, it is pure intelligence. Then the brahmachari is asking, what is the nature of this akhandakara vritti, this uninterrupted awareness? Acharya said, thoughts themselves are the mind. Vrittayo manaha vidyaham manah. When the mind sees a pot, a ghada, it takes the form of a pot, ghadakara vritti. When it sees a man, it takes the form of a man. When the same mind pervades one's beingness, it takes the form of chit, as a river that merges into the ocean takes the form of the ocean. This expansion of the mind into the infinite existence itself is akhandakara vritti. The mind enters vishati, pravishati, into the realm of boundlessness. And that is akhandakara vritti. This itself is nididhyasana. To hold on to that state, to remain in that state is the only thing that a mumukshu, a renunciate has to do. So the disciple asks, if we have to, naturally people ask, if we do Atma Vichara Dhyana, how will we work? How will this practitioner of Nididhyasana perform his daily religious observances? Here it is about religious observances. Regarding Sankaracharya's teaching and Bhagavan's teaching, to Bhagavan many people ask question. So Bhagavan will naturally say, you train your mind, let it remain in that state, it can work in the world. But Bhagavan also knows that when the fruit is ripe, it will fall. So all work will go. But Sankaracharya's case, mostly the people who are asking are already not doing any other work other than religious works, like rituals, karma, anushtana, puja, aradhana, these things. Even that will go. So here, jnanaika nishtha niratasya bhiksho naivavakashostihi karma tantre tadeva karmasya tadeva sandhya tadeva sarvam na tatonyadasti. A person who is doing Atma Vichara, self-enquiry, incessantly doing Atma Vichara, for him, abidance in that is the only anushtana, nothing else. Naiva avakashaha astihi karma tantre. He has no time to do any karma, any ritual. For doing anything, you need the I am the doer attitude. So that itself is affected there. Tadeva karma. His very abidance is his karma. You can see Bhagavan. Nothing else to do. Tadeva sandhya. No special sandhya vandana ritual, nothing. That itself is his sandhya vandana. In Bhagavan's case, there is no special anushtana. Always abidance in that. Tadeva sarvam. Everything is that. Na tataha anyat asti. Nothing other than that is there for him. Even about, sometimes the person is the Paramahamsa sannyasi, constantly in samadhi. He cannot even take bath, not concerned about food. For some time at least, a yogi remains in such a state. No snana, no concern about anything. So here very interestingly Sankaracharya says, don't take it literally. Here Sankaracharya says, Buddhi kalpita malinya kshalanam snanam atmanaha. What is bath for him? Snanam. Washing away the dirt of negative thinking habits conceived by the intellect itself is beti. If you can do that, that is good snanam. People, when they don't want to bath, in our Patashala, in our Samskrita Kalashala, we used to make shloka. Snanam panjavidam proktam. You can have 5 types of snanam. Prokshanam majjanam jaiva. First you do just prokshanam. That is one kind of snanam. Then take a dip. Or punasnatasya darshanam. Just to see somebody who has taken bath. Good snanam. Many things like that. So Swaswarupe manasthanam anushtanam tadishyate. What is anushtanam? Outwardly you may do anything, but the real anushtanam is keep the mind in swarupa. That is anushtanam. Keep the mind, make the mind abide in one's real nature. Tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. Vinishidhyakilam drishyam swaswarupena ya sthitihi sa sandhya tad anushtanam tad dhyanam tadhi bhojanam. Negating all that is seen and abiding in the self is sandhya. That itself is meditation. That itself is food also. For the yogi, that is the real food. Vijnāta paramarthānam Shuddha sattvatmanam satam Yatinam kim anushtanam Swanusandhim vina param. What discipline other than constant abidance in the self is there for the sages who have known the truth and are purely sattvic? With constant abidance in that state itself is the practice that they have to do. This is the yati dharma. For a sannyasi, actually, this alone is to be done, nothing else. A sannyasi is not supposed even to do any puja, any outward japa, any outward ritual, especially Advaita Sampradaya. Upasana sadhana, upasana sannyasa is there. That Vaishnava Sampradaya sannyasa is there. That's all different. But here, all 24 hours, the sadhu has only one thing to do. That is Atma Dhyāna. Nothing else. Atma Dhyāna. Atma Vichara. And this is not simply for sadhu, but for everyone it is possible. So one who does that, he is a sadhu. He should be considered as a sadhu. Sadhureva samantavyaha samyak vyavasito hi saha. One who has taken that resolve, he should be considered as a sadhu. He has taken a great resolve. So that is it. We will continue this discussion tomorrow. Very, very profound teaching is coming forward from Mandukya Upanishad. Very, very profound. We will continue tomorrow.
अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचला
अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव
अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचला अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचला अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचला